Welcome back, guys. I wanted to talk a little bit about home time. A lot of guys ask, and this is maybe a little bit more of a general, non-tanker specific video, but this seems to be one of the questions that I get fairly frequently is how often can I get home? How do I get home? How does it all work? So first of all, I'm going to let you know how it works for me. I am the dedicated account. I live 15 minutes from the terminal, and as I just did, I am actually parked in my own driveway, and I am at home. Couple of things to consider, and this is a somewhat typical day for me, where I woke up, drove into the terminal in my truck, picked up the trailer. I drove bobtail, and again, if you don't remember, bobtail is just the tractor, no trailer. Deadhead is an empty trailer, and then loaded is obviously with product in the trailer. So I bobtail from my house to the terminal, pick up a loaded trailer, deliver it where it needs to go. In my dedicated account, some of these are shorter. Actually, they're all basically day trips. The longest ones are probably about 4 or 5 hours each direction. We do have one that's about 5.5 hours each way, which is pretty close. You start doing the math on an 11-hour driving day, it's 5.5 hours each direction. That's a full day of driving each way. Today's was a short one for me. It was 2.5 hours each direction. I did only have one load today, so it was wake up, pick up a trailer, drive 2.5 hours north up into Michigan, 2.5 hours, do the unloading, 2.5 hours drive back, 15 minutes back to the house, done for the day. Quick comment on done for the day. Regardless of if you can park at your house, if you have to find a place to park, something to consider, you do have to know where you're going to park the truck. This was something I hadn't necessarily considered when I lived in Michigan before I moved down. And where I lived in Michigan, I had to have a place for truck and empty trailer. And quickly, how I went home when I lived in Michigan is I would pick up a load. When I stayed down here, I would stay at the terminal. This place, after you drop your trailer, there's some bobtail parking. I would stay in my truck at the terminal. This is a very small terminal. We don't have bunk rooms. We don't have anything like that at this particular terminal. But I would stay in my truck. When I went home, I would get a load home. And this is the next part of it. How do you go home? If you don't do what I do, what you do is you put in a home counter. And for me, I would put in a home counter I've said I used to live in Traverse City, Michigan. Closest load going home for us was to Grand Rapids, Michigan, which was about 2.5 hours south of Traverse City. So I would want to go home for a weekend. I would request a Friday load to Grand Rapids. I would deliver to Grand Rapids. After I was done, the company knew that since I had a home counter, home time scheduled, after I was done delivering, I was driving to Traverse City to go home for the length of time that I had specified I wanted home time. If something came up that they needed or wanted me, they would free to call me or send me a message and say, hey, are you available to do this? I was not obligated to do anything during home time, but they can certainly send you a message and say, hey, we're short trucks, we've got a load, this could work out for you. Otherwise, if I said I was going home for a weekend, typically I would get a message Saturday or Sunday, typically Saturday, saying your next load is picking up Sunday night or Monday morning or however it worked. And then it was my responsibility to get myself back and available to pick up the load on Sunday night or Monday. Quickly, you don't have to take home time at home. This last weekend, just to give you an example, I did not work this last weekend. Had an event in Chicago that I wanted to attend. My daughter wanted to go to a concert. So what we did was we requested home time for me in Chicago and looked for loads delivering Saturday. So the concert was Saturday night. Could put, my daughter in the truck, request a home counter for Chicago. Saturday morning, if something comes up that's available, heading from my dedicated account in Decatur, Indiana, heading towards the Chicago area. And there's a number of places around Chicago that we deliver. So for a weekend off, that way you're getting paid to go somewhere. If you're an over-the-road driver, if you want to take a vacation, and especially this is common and popular if you're not attached, if you don't have family, you're not married, you don't have kids, you just want to take vacation time, you've got bed back here. You don't need to get a hotel room. You want to take home time, you want to take a vacation in Las Vegas, California, anything, anywhere that you want to go, down to Florida, maybe you want to check out Boston, you can put in a home counter for any city. It doesn't have to be your home. So the way the computer routing system works is it will work towards getting you towards where your home counter is set. Personally, I usually put a home counter in for my home, 15 minutes, and typically it just is Decatur because obviously get me back to the home terminal. Now that I've explained that, you need a place to park. Keep that in mind. If you're heading out, you haven't started driving yet, start asking around. Ask the local Walmart if you're allowed to park trucks. Look for a truck stop that's very close to your house that you can leave the truck at for the weekend. When you talk to Prime, ask if there's a drop yard in your area or close to your area. Because typically, or even if you're not a tanker driver and you live near Decatur, you can drop your trailer at the Decatur terminal. So you can drop a reefer trailer, you can drop a flatbed trailer there and drive your bobtail home. Or you can leave your whole truck and trailer at Decatur. Have your wife or spouse or friends or family come pick you up. You can just leave it parked there. But start thinking about where you would want to park your truck or where you would be able to park your truck. So there's that. Two differences, and this is another one going back to company versus lease. Starting with lease, because I'm a lease operator. You can take off anytime you want to take off. They're going to send me my load for tomorrow sometime shortly. If I don't want to work tomorrow, I can just click on no. I'm not doing it. I'm going to stay home tomorrow. Now, the consequence of that as a lease operator, I can park this truck for a week. I can park this truck for a month. I can park this truck till the end of the lease and not do anything with it. Never drive another load for Prime. Every week, though, Success Leasing, who is the company that Prime leases their trucks through, wants round about $1,100 in fixed costs. So if I don't move this truck and can come up with $1,100 in fixed costs, I don't have to go anywhere. Now, if you want to take an extended amount of time off, you can create an emergency fund. And what that is, you can either put a percentage or a set dollar amount each week. One, you get paid that goes into an emergency fund. And if you want to park the truck, say you put $100 a week, say you put $50 a week into the emergency fund. If you park the truck, take a week's vacation, 2 weeks vacation, if you end up with $2,000, $3,000 in that emergency fund, you can use that money to pay off those fixed costs. Your variable costs aren't going to accrue while you've got the truck parked because it's usually maintenance, it's usually fuel, things along those lines, things that won't build up while the truck's not moving. So as long as you can pay off those fixed costs, you can take as much time as you want off. For me, I never take more than a long weekend off, and usually, like I said, I took Saturday and Sunday off, and I still have enough revenue, and part of that is because of how this dedicated account works, where I get 1 or 2 loads a day typically, and so I have enough revenue that I can take a weekend off. and not necessarily have to worry. Company drivers are different. You can accrue, or you do accrue, 1 day off for every week that you work. Prime will tell you that they want you to take 3 days off at a time. And the reason for that is they don't want you to work a week, take a day off, work a week, take a day off, because this is an over-the-road job. This is not a regional job. They cannot guarantee that you're going to stay close enough to where you live to be able to get you home once a week to take 1 day off. So they would prefer you probably work 6 weeks, and then take a week off as a company driver, because it's easier with a couple of days or probably a couple weeks notice to say, hey, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I want to be where I live, say near Decatur, Indiana. They can have their computer routing system send you that direction with more notice, and then know that that's where you're going to be available for reload when you come off of home time. So that's how going home works. Again, as a lease operator, you can take as much time as you want off as long as you can afford to pay the fixed costs. Fixed costs do not stop just because you're not out driving. And that's one of the downsides of lease. As a company driver, you're not getting paid when you're on home time, but you don't have to worry about the lease payment. You don't have to worry about all the other fixed costs that go into it. And the other fixed costs are licenses and insurance and things along those lines. So that's how home time works. If you have any questions about how home time works, comment. Of course, you can like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share this video. If you are thinking about coming to Prime and you talk to a recruiter, use my name. It is the channel name. Again, I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. If you don't want to do that, if you know somebody else, feel free to do that. But if you feel that these videos are worthwhile, if you've gotten something out of it, you can use my name as a reference. It doesn't cost you anything, and it is a little bit of a benefit to me, so I do appreciate that if you feel like doing it. Enjoy. We'll see you next week. I am going to go enjoy my free cereal. I guess this is in French. This is Canadian Honey Bunches of Oats. It's another kind of neat thing is sometimes you get free food from some of the places we deliver, and they gave me, what's this, 8 boxes of, actually, this is 4 double boxes, so 8 boxes of Honey Bunches of Oats from Post that I delivered to today. So keep that in mind. You'll occasionally get some free food from some of the places we go. Enjoy, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.